We are here. Good to see you guys. Let's pull some stuff up. How is everyone doing? We got some cool news over here on our end, so I'm pumped to have you guys here. Let me get everything pulled up and we will rock and roll. All right, where's everybody tuning in from? Give me a shout out with where you're at. If you're catching this on the replay too, drop a hashtag replay. I always love to see you guys here on the replay. So, boom. Where my peeps at? What up, you guys? I see a couple of y'all. Where y'all tuning in at? Let me see. What up, Yuri? Good to see you, dude. All right, we should be straight. Oh, that's why. Boom. All right. Boom. It's a little loud. Oh, let me switch my audio. How's everyone feeling? Haven't been here in a minute, but we've been staying consistent. Come on down to Florida. It's warm here. Let's see. Pop in here. Dude, you gotta make sure you hit that bell if you want those notifications on YouTube. All right. Let me hit the everyone tag as well on the Book of Faces, and we will rock. We got some training to hit. Boom. How y'all feeling? How's everyone? Rad. All right, let's rock and roll, you guys. Cool. How's everyone feeling? So I have a major update, you guys. I'm really excited to share with you. I'm going to actually save it for a little bit, but let's kick this thing off. So we are, of course, going to do our dials here in a little bit. I'm glad you guys are pumped. It's good to see everyone. I would love to know where you guys are tuning in from. I know we got New York's in the house. Wherever else you guys are at, feel free to drop that in the chat. Cool. So in terms of sales and sales training, I want to run through a couple key concepts before we get too far into the actual dial segment of everything. So if you guys have ever been on one of these live with us before, you may know already, but I like to hit a little bit of training in the beginning so you guys can get some understanding of kind of what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And then once I do that training, then I'll roll through and I actually start working on stuff. So just one thing that's been kind of interesting I've been testing with appointment setting is a little bit of a different cadence. So how many of you guys, if you know what a cadence is, give me a 1 in the chat. And if you don't know what a cadence is, give me a 2 in the chat. Now, you guys may be able to kind of get an understanding of what they are just off of the word. But if you know what a cadence is, that's what I want to know. Do you know what a cadence is, right? And I like cadences a lot. So cadences are super crucial in order for you guys to be able to actually scale your sales. So what exactly is a cadence? Well, a cadence is effectively a predefined series of steps that you'll send a prospect or a lead through in order to get them to take action. Right? So it's a predefined series of steps that you'll send a lead through in order to get them to take action. Now, there's cadences, and how we design cadences varies a little bit whether or not someone's coming inbound or we're going outbound. So why would that vary, or how would it change if we're going inbound or outbound? First of all, if someone's coming inbound, we have a lot more intent and permission. So generally, because they've come inbound to us, we have those two things set up. There's intent and permission. So I can be a lot more aggressive with my cadence. And by aggressive, I just mean have more touch points, or have more frequent touch points, or just more conversations and follow-ups just coming at them in general. Normally, if you're going outbound and you're using an outreach cadence, you don't want to pester someone too much, because it can create a lot of risk on your domain or your sender reputation, on your phone numbers, and your entire systems can burn down because you're effectively burning domains, you're burning accounts, you're burning phone numbers, you're burning all kinds of things really fast if you have really long stretched out cadences on outbound. So that's one major insight. But the question is, why do we want a cadence? Why do we want a cadence? Right? So I want you guys to put whatever your guess is to that question in the chat. And even if you're catching us on the replay, I want you to do that, because when you guys actually respond and you put that engagement in there, it helps you learn and drive the neural etchings deeper in terms of the grooves in your neurology. So with that, right? Why do we want a cadence? What's important about a cadence? What's a cadence give us is the question, right? And what a cadence gives us is a cadence gives us consistency and predictability, because we know we have a set predefined sequence of events, and with that, we're going to consistently flow the leads through this set predefined sequence of events, and we're going to end up with a specific output or a specific percentage that are converting into booked appointments or to paid customers. So designing cadences will give you a lot more control, and it gives you a lot more predictability in the workflows of the business, because ultimately, what is a business, right? We got to strip everything down to the studs sometimes, and when we do, we even have to question everything that we know, right? And when that is, what's a business? How would you define a business? That's what I want to ask you. How would you define a business? My definition of a business is quite simple. It's a series of systems that take an input and convert it into more valuable outputs with efficiency, right? That's all it is. We take an input, we convert it into a more valuable output with enough efficiency, meaning we can create profit. So we take the input, we add sort of our secret sauce to the input, right? So we got the burger meat, we got the buns, we got the lettuce, we got the mayo, we got the tomato, we got the mustard, right? And we got the Krabby Patty sauce. We take all these ingredients, we mix them all together, and then now we have a burger, and the burger is more valuable, right? So effectively, that's what a business is. It takes an input or a raw material, it does a series of value add steps to that raw material, and then it has a more valuable output on the back end, and it does it with efficiency. So let's look at someone who flips homes, right? That's a business. I want to flip homes. Well, I buy an ugly house from someone. I get my remodelers to come in, and I got to go through the whole process. So I got to, get approvals for my plans. I got to get the remodelers in. I got to inspect it. I got to do a whole series of value-added steps. And then once I fixed up the home, I can sell it for more at the back end, and I get a fat profit on the back end, right? So that's effectively a business. All it does is it takes an input, has a series of value-added steps or systems that add value, and then it produces an output that has efficiency in it, right? That's a more valuable output, and it does it with efficiency. So if that's a business, we need to be able to predictably and controllably value add at each step of the process. And so the cadence is how you're going to be able to do that. And so your cadence is effectively the overarching design of your follow-up emails, your follow-up texts, your content systems, all that stuff. And so how do you take that prospect and get them to go from cold to sold is our question. And there's two kind of key cadences we already touched on. We have the outbound cadence and the inbound cadence, right? And so generally what's going to trigger that is someone opts in. And then once they opt in, now we have a specific series of events. And so one of the big things that I've been testing lately on my cadence is it's a little bit different than what I normally would be doing. And it's working really well, so I wanted to share it with you guys. But one of the things that I've been testing is normally I try to optimize every specific event at the event level. And so what I mean by that is if I sent an email, I'd want to send the email at the optimum time to send the email. Or if I posted in my Facebook group, I would want to post at the optimum time in the Facebook group. Or if I sent a text message, I would want to send at the optimal time to send text messages, right? And so what was happening was it oftentimes works better if you send a text message in the afternoon. The Facebook group, for whatever reason, works in midday really well. And the emails perform better earlier in the day. So I would send an email in the morning. We'd have our group post in by around noon. And then in the afternoon, sometimes in the text or the early evening, the text would go out and then we'd be working our leads there. So what's the problem with that? The problem with that is that people are coming in and they're raising their hand and saying they're interested at all hours of the day. So now we have to have constant uptime to be able to serve all these people. And I wanted to batch it and make it more efficient in general. And so what I've been testing recently, and it's worked really well actually, is when we do our broadcasts and these things, and we're not perfect, so you guys will see us testing this stuff, but remember, we're not perfect. So there's going to be days I'm going to miss this or our team's going to miss this and stuff, but we do our damnedest, right? But what we've been doing is now I'm broadcasting everything or at least working on it at the same time. And the reason is because then all the hands get raised at the same time. We can plug into the channel for about an hour or two, get in and get out of social media instead of having to feel like constantly trapped and stuck on social media. Because when you're constantly trapped and stuck on social media, you feel like social media is controlling you. You're not controlling social media. And when you feel like social media is controlling you, you get to the point where you work yourself into burnout and then you stop prospecting, you stop outreaching, you stop doing all the shit that you know you need to be doing because you need to recharge and you need to regroup and you need to refocus and you need to recenter, right? And as a result, it's because you're constantly always on and you feel like you have to jump whenever someone says how high, and then you're getting to this place where you're starting to feel like you're potentially burning out. So what we did was we compressed our cadences to get them into the same window of time, and then they drop all at the same time, give or take, and then it allows us to just work leads a little bit better and be more coordinated as a crew when we're working leads. So it's been a really interesting little test that we've been doing. I've only tested it about the last week or so, but the workflows and everything's just been a lot better and easier. We've been able to book a good amount of leads compared to before. We're starting to see actual noticeable improvements. We're starting to see 20%, 30% increases in book calls week over week. And so it's just been by consolidating the broadcast into one time, so it makes it easier. And the way I almost look at it is like the broadcasts are the air coverage, and then the actual like follow up and being there and setting the appointments off the broadcasts, it's like the infantry that's coming in, right? So that broadcast is providing the air coverage, and then boom, we have the boots on the ground there to actually start to scoop up and really take advantage of the opportunities and, you know, reach out to everybody that's reaching out, help people in the best way to help them. Because what we've been doing is we've been looking to use a lot more AI and automation inside of our setting processes so that we can have a much leaner sales org. We don't have as many people inside of the sales team. It makes it more fun to run. It makes it more profitable to run. It makes it easier to manage. It's just what I've been seeing is it's a lot better across the board to have a smaller, leaner sales team than a big, fat, bloated sales team. And so this is sort of a correction that we've been making in the past year or two. And I'm consistently innovating and trying to refine our systems to find ways that we can consistently be even more efficient and have more leverage through AI and automation, yet while keeping the customer experience at a really high level. So it's been a lot of fun, and those are a couple cool insights that I just wanted to break down with you. So I want to encourage you guys to look at your cadence. If you guys want me to do a deeper training on cadences as well, just type out the word cadence. That will give me a good sense. If I see enough of you guys say that you want something like that, I'll think about putting it together. So I just kind of want to put the feeler out there. If you guys want me to do a deeper training on cadences and you want to kind of get a better sense of it and how it works, put that in the chat, cadence, and we'll look at putting that together. So cool. That was fun. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. And now let's actually do some dials and let's hit the phones, baby. Let's hit the phones. All right, where are we? I have actually, no, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. I have something really exciting that I'm working on, but I'm going to hold off for today. I'm going to keep that one up the sleeve for now. Sweet. CRM. Let's get in here. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to, here's a thing that I'm thinking about right now. So yesterday I did a lot of deep work. Just some days I'll do more deep work than others, right? And so a lot of times if I'm doing a deep work day and I'm really like in the zone, and yesterday I was working on a new project, and so I was just like on fire. And when I'm on fire, I just want to stay on fire. So I was kind of in that space where I was just like, and I didn't do as good of a job of responding to everybody as I could have over the yesterday. So what I'm going to do actually, before I get too far into dials, one of the things that I want to encourage you guys to do is create sort of like an order of operations. And I'll actually share my order of operations with you guys because I think this would be hugely valuable. So I'm of the mindset that most people poorly allocate their time and energy when working leads, working follow-up, setting appointments, and all that fun stuff, right? So most people will poorly allocate their time and attention. So if that's the case, right, that's what I believe. Why? What are they doing? What mistakes are people making when allocating their time and attention inside of the appointment setting process? I would love for you guys to put that into the chat as well. What's your guess in terms of mistakes that people are making when it comes to prioritizing how they work opportunities or work leads? So drop that in, and I'm going to pull a couple things up while you do that, and then I will give you guys the answer on it. So, and I see these mistakes time and time and time and time again. Like it's always the same mistakes. So it's pretty easy for us to not make these mistakes, but what happens is you just have to be aware of your cognitive biases. We all have mental biases or cognitive biases that cause us to do dumb things from time to time. And so the more aware of your own cognitive biases and cognitive biases in general you are, the better you'll be at influence, persuasion when it comes to speaking with other people, but the better you are going to be at influencing and persuading your own self. Which that's really where everything starts, right? Everything starts at being able to influence and persuade your own self. And if you can influence and persuade your own self, then you can basically influence and persuade others, right? So it starts with our own minds. Now, where are we here? Sweet. Okay. Boom. Okay, so I've pulled up what I needed to pull up on my end, and now I'm going to give you guys the answer to what I asked. So the question was, where do people fail, or what mistake do people make when it comes to actually prioritizing their follow-ups and working the opportunities inside of the pipeline, right? And that's the question I really want you guys to consider. And what I've seen time and time again working with people is they don't properly prioritize leads, and in fact, they leave a lot of the deep funnel leads. So what you'll find is that the further down your funnel, so if you imagine a funnel like this, right? We have the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. The further down you are at the funnel, the more valuable the lead is. So what most people do when they try and set appointments is they try and go get a ton of new leads. Instead of working from the bottom and working up, they start at the top and try and work down. So basically, they're starting at the hardest to book appointments, and then they're working down, and so they can just never get as much traction as they could, and they're working a lot harder than they should. Versus if I find the appointments that are going to be the easier ones to book, and then I work my way backwards, that's a much better use of time and allocation of energy. So I'm actually just going to go through our email list inbox really fast and do a quick overview and a sweep and make sure that nobody got dropped in the mix here. And it looks like that's all good. Sweet, I found a good lead, so let me get her set up. Okay, so I'm responding, and what I did, it's subtleties in your guys' language, so I really want you guys to be super aware of the language you're using. All right. And here's a pretty crazy fact. So I'm in the email inbox, right? And this is our email inbox off of our email list. And the crazy fact is that your email list will return far more money than any other asset inside of a business. So on average, $1 invested into email marketing typically returns about $42 or something like that. And so focusing on your email list is a really good place to be. Right, and effectively the reason is because the people who are responding to my email list are very deep of funnel people. So they're people who had opted in at some point, they'd been on my list for a while, they had nurtured, and then a message resonated with them for them to send a response today. So that's a good sign that they are a deep funnel person. Boom. Oh, crap. That makes sense. Okay. Boom. Sweet. So we're cruising here. These are email sets. I don't know what that is. Boom. Oh, dude, I got so many good leads here, actually. So I've just hit 2 replies. I'm working on my 3rd right now. I'm just trying to bang these out as fast as possible. Okay, let me just think about this. I was about to position something with scarcity, and then I'm second guessing it. Or if you wanted to. Sick. Okay, cool. We just got another email set through. Let's look at some of our other platforms. Cool. So basically what I just did, so you guys know, and you guys are up to pace with me, but we just went through, I scanned the main broadcast inbox, and then I responded to, I think I hit like 3 or 4 good quality leads that had already responded into us. So that's just a quick way to roll through. And then now I'm going to check out some of our outreach where we have potential new positive replies. So there's an old thing when going back to the idea that we had already talked about a little bit, which is that people will mostly take the wrong approach to working their leads or their audience, right? And so what they're normally not going to do is they're not going to start with the deep bottom of funnel people. They're going to oftentimes start with people who are way too high at the top of the funnel. And what I want to do is the opposite of that. I typically want to go deeper into the funnel. And in fact, I actually just thought of something that might be a better look for us right now. Cool. Already got that. My computer's being a little slow, so I might actually hit some of the messages off of my phone. So let me just scan through here real fast. Oh yeah, we got some good stuff in here. Oh, dude, we got some goodies here. Oh, sick. Let's see what we got. We got another one here. Oh, crap. So you got to monitor your stuff all the time. There's no such thing, even if we automate, to be honest, you guys, there's no such thing as set and forget. You got to always keep an eye on your stuff because your accounts will go down, stuff will happen, there will be issues, stuff like that. So it looks like one of my emails got burned because we've been doing some cold email stuff and it's got burned. So I probably gotta fix this thing altogether. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. Those numbers are too low. So generally, just so you guys know what I look at when I'm emailing, I normally want to hit a 40% open rate and a 4% response rate. And right now, this campaign's only got a 20% open rate and an 8% or 0.8% response rate. So it's like way under performance on my KPIs. So I got to fix. Okay, so I'm adding that to my backlog. I don't know what this guy wants. This one guy sent me a bunch of stuff, so I'm going to come back to him in a second. Sweet. Dude, so much good opportunity. So what I'm doing right now, I'm responding to all these people, and I just want to talk through kind of like what's happening inside of my mind as I'm doing this. So a lot of times what I'm trying to do, you guys, is like actively sell and give you the opportunity to be over the shoulder watching me, and then I'm like paying attention to what's happening inside of my mind, and then I'll pull it out and explain. So, you know, a lot of these different people, I'm kind of meeting different people where they're at. So some people, like, there are some people that are a little bit more legit. And it's pretty obvious, like they've been around the block. They're more official. They kind of have a lot more experience, and they're more serious business people. So with those people, a lot of times I kind of flatter them a little bit, but not too much. So it's not like I'm being overly nice or anything, but I understand how to give them compliments that they like to receive. Which, that's one of the things about people who are more successful is they like for you to compliment them on key distinctions of their success, because basically it takes a more refined palate to understand, why jazz is good relative to pop music. And so when musicians who play jazz, someone understands like, oh, and you did this little riff, I loved it. That stuff makes a jazz musician really, really excited. So sometimes consider your more sophisticated business people are like jazz musicians. It takes a more refined palate to be able to appreciate what they do. When you can communicate that you see what they're doing and you can communicate in a form of appreciation for that, generally they'll respond pretty favorably. And if you try and position yourself as above someone who views himself as successful, you'll basically be screwed. A lot of times you have to be positioned as an equal to someone who views himself as really successful, unless you have clearly orders of magnitude of more success than them and they already know that you have those orders of magnitude of more success than them. And a lot of what happens is one of the key compliments that you can do is you can ask them a really good question. Like people who are successful and smart, they appreciate so much when you can ask a good question, especially a precise and specific question that shows that you've done a little bit of research and you actually understand what they do. So basically, someone wanted me to sell an offer. He had two offers. He has a B2B sale, and then he has a certification program. And I said, which one are you looking for sales reps for, the certification program or the B2B program? And by just asking that, it showed that I took an extra minute to do a little bit of research. I asked a good question that shows that I understand and I'm smart enough, I'm switched on. Basically what this person's a little bit more of a higher level person. I could tell like they've had success. They're probably doing multi-6, 7 figures even. Maybe they had started multiple companies and had some success there. So I can kind of pick that up, and as a result, just by asking that question the way I did, it sets me up for success. So boom. All right, I think I cleared this inbox, which is good. Boom. Boom. All right, we should be good. I'm going to check just one more thing. Sweet. We look good. Inbox is clean. All right. I have one more inbox that I absolutely need to make sure I clear. Boom. So no dialing today, it doesn't look like. I don't even think we'll need to be honest. I'll probably set a crap ton of appointments just off of what we're doing in general, off of messaging. Boom. So again, I just want to recap what I've done so far. But basically what I did was today, because yesterday I was in a deep work mode, I went back and I started to catch up on a couple of the inboxes, but I specifically went to our deepest of funnel locations first and our hottest, most recent prospects second. So as a result of that, now I've gone kind of deep on those. I'm trying to get into the old book of faces to do a little bit more appointment setting here, but it looks like it's freezing and it's not wanting to work. So gotta do that. Okay, sweet. Let's try to get into Facebook. Ah, crap. All right. Take. Okay. Sweet. My computer's going a little slow right now, so I'm gonna slow down, and then if you guys have any questions, I am gonna hit any questions you got. So if you got any questions, drop them in the chat. If I don't see any questions in like a minute or two, I'll probably wrap up, let my computer chill out, and actually I'm gonna keep working on this stuff. But I'm glad I got to break down some of these ideas for you, because these are huge ideas. If you guys actually take what I'm saying and you implement it, especially like we covered a bunch of stuff today, like the batch mailing all at once and kind of using your broadcast as your air coverage and then the actual setting as the boots on the ground, that's huge. So that's one major idea. The second major idea we covered today was the cadences. So making sure you guys are actually leveraging predictable, predefined cadences. So when you do, it gives you the predictability and control over your experience, and you know X number of leads will convert into Y number of appointments, and that Y number of appointments will convert into Z amount of revenue, right? Our goal is to get to that level of granularity with what you guys are doing, and having clear predefined cadences is the way there. So we cover those, as well as we covered the order of operations and settings, so making sure you're actually starting at the bottom of the funnel and then working your way up from the bottom of the funnel. So because if you think about it, like how much you pay for a lead versus how much do you pay for an appointment. If you pay for $200 for an appointment, which is generally like going market rate on a lot of people's systems. So if you pay $200 for an appointment, maybe you're paying $20 for a lead. If you're paying $20 for a lead, isn't that appointment worth 10 times as much? So why wouldn't you be focused at people who have booked appointments? Well, if an appointment, then let's say, only half of them end up showing up, which is a pretty bad, it depends. Maybe you're in a biz op market, so you pay $200 per call, only half show up. Well, you're paying $400 per shown call. So if someone shows up, it's a $400 lead. And then if that person, you make an offer to them, but you only make an offer to, say, for example, 80% of the people, you're really at a $500 cost or investment before you can even make an offer. So if I then focus my follow-up and time and energy on people who I've made offers to, the returns are much bigger, and I'm focusing my energy on the right part of the segment. So I want you guys, when you're thinking about your appointment setting, to start at the bottom, work your way up. It's just one of the ways you're going to really maximize the value of what's in your guys' ecosystem. So, cool. Those are the key ideas that I wanted to make sure I left with you guys today. If you got a lot out of that, please drop your biggest takeaway from that inside of the chat. I want to hear what stood out to you throughout this session, any key ideas, takeaways that you can take and implement to start setting more appointments, closing more deals, changing more lives, and making more money, because that's the name of the game. So with that said, I am going to run. I'm going to keep knocking stuff out. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. If you guys want more support, you want to go deeper, you want to really level up your mastery of sales, you want to level up your mastery in business, go to scalewithmikemark.com. There's an application there. You can fill out that application. Happy to have a conversation with you guys about what it would look like and kind of where you're at, where you want to be, what's causing that gap between getting there, and then engineering a real plan to be able to close that gap. So if that's something that you're interested in, go to scalewithmikemark.com. And on that note, I'm outie. Peace, y'all.